You walk into a room full of strangers. You shake a hand. You make eye contact. You smile. And in less time than it takes to blink, your brain has already decided something about that person. Trustworthy or not, safe or not, friend or threat. You think you're getting to know someone, but the real answer is far stranger. Your brain already decided before you even said hello. In the early 2000s, psychologist Alexander Todorov showed people unfamiliar faces for just 1/10 of a second. Then he asked a simple question. How trustworthy does this person seem? People answered instantly, and when others were given far more time to study the same faces, their answers barely changed. More time didn't make the judgment more accurate, it just made people feel more confident about a decision they'd already made. Your brain isn't gathering evidence when you meet someone, it's confirming a verdict it already reached. So where does that verdict come from? Go back. Not years. Hundreds of thousands of years. To a time before language, before towns, before anything you'd recognize as a rule written down. Back then, every stranger was a question with life or death stakes. Friend or rival, hungry or full, armed or empty-handed. There was no time to think it through slowly. The humans who survived were the ones whose brains decided instantly. Friend, foe, run, stay. That instinct never left. It just moved indoors. Today the stranger isn't holding a spear. They're holding a coffee cup or a resume or a phone with your photo on a dating app. But the part of your brain doing the judging doesn't know the difference. It's the same ancient circuitry working in a world it was never built for. So what is it actually looking at? Mostly your face shape. A softer jawline and slightly raised outer eyebrows read as friendly. A more angular jaw and lowered brows read as dominant, even threatening. None of this has anything to do with who you really are. It's an old pattern match, scanning for cues that once meant safety or danger. You're being judged on geometry, and so is everyone else. But it's not just faces. In the 1990s, researcher Nalini Ambady showed people 2-second silent video clips of college professors teaching. No sound, just posture and tiny expressions. She asked viewers to rate how effective each professor seemed. Those 2-second ratings lined up almost perfectly with evaluations from students who'd sat through an entire semester. 2 seconds predicted what took 15 weeks to learn. She called this thin slicing. A tiny slice of behavior, and your brain fills in the rest of the pattern. It works on professors, doctors, strangers on a train. And right now, someone is thin slicing you. Here's the twist. Once your brain makes that first snap judgment, it doesn't stay neutral. It works to prove itself right. Psychologists call this the halo effect. If your brain decides someone is warm in that first instant, every awkward joke afterward feels endearing. If it decides they're cold, the same joke feels rude. Same person, same behavior. Completely different story, depending on a verdict made in a 1/10 of a second. And underneath it all sits a small structure deep in your brain called the amygdala, your threat detector. Brain scans show it reacts to an unfamiliar face within milliseconds, often before your slower, thinking mind even gets the signal. Your gut reaction isn't a metaphor, it's your brain reacting before it thinks. So what does this mean for your life? It means job interviews are often decided in the first few seconds, no matter how the rest of the conversation goes. The interviewer believes they judged you fairly, over time. Their brain just never told them when the real decision happened. It means a dating app photo gets scanned by the same friend or foe circuitry your ancestors used on an approaching stranger on the savanna. And it means the people you instantly liked, or never quite warmed to, might have very little to do with who they actually are, and everything to do with a jawline, an eyebrow angle, or a face that quietly reminded your brain of someone else. None of this makes you shallow, it makes you human. This system kept your ancestors alive long enough to have children, who eventually had you. But knowing it's there changes something. The next time a feeling about someone new arrives before a single word is spoken, you don't have to trust it completely. You can hold it a little more loosely. You can give yourself a little longer than your instincts want. So the next time you walk into a room full of strangers, pay attention to that first fraction of a second. That isn't you meeting them. That's something far older than you meeting them first.